Hi guys, I am Kyla.
And I'm Alex.
And today we are going to do the reaction of bromate with hydroxylammonium ions. Let's start by getting a look at the overall reaction. Bromate plus hydroxylammonium ions gives you bromide plus an unknown product. Our job is to find out the product.
In order to find out the product, we take a known excess of potassium bromate and react with 10 mils of hydroxylammonium chloride. From the excess potassium bromate, we will have unreacted potassium bromate. Our job is to estimate the amount of unreacted potassium bromate.
To do this, we are going to add excess potassium iodide to the flask containing the unreacted potassium bromate. This reaction will liberate iodine, which will appear in the form of a triiodide ion. To know the amount of the triiodide ion present, we will titrate with a standard solution of sodium thiosulfate.
To begin the experiment, we have to transfer 20 mils of potassium bromate to our Erlenmeyer flask. But before we can do this, it's important that we take the initial and final reading of the burette. We're first going to start off by taking the initial reading. In order to do this, remove your burette, hold the burette at the top with your left hand, make sure the meniscus is eye level, put the card behind the burette, and take your initial reading. From this point, you'll place your burette back into the clamp, making sure it is straight. Once it is straight, you now want to add your 20 mils to your Erlenmeyer flask. To add the potassium bromate, you can take your right hand, place your fingernail at the 20 mil mark, and add your potassium bromate. Once you've added your potassium bromate, it's important now to take the final reading of the burette in order to determine how much potassium bromate you've actually transferred. So again, remove your burette, hold it with your left hand. This time make sure that the meniscus again is eye level. Place the card behind the burette and take your final reading. Once you've done that, you can take the burette and place it back inside the clamp. So now we have transferred 20 mils of potassium bromate to our Erlenmeyer flask. Our next job is to now add 10 mils of hydroxylammonium chloride to our Erlenmeyer flask. Now that we have our 20 mils of potassium bromate, we're now going to add 10 mils of hydroxylammonium chloride. To do this, grab your hydroxylammonium chloride. Next, take your pipette and take up 10 mils of the hydroxylammonium chloride. Once you've taken up the hydroxylammonium chloride, add it to your Erlenmeyer flask. There will come a point where you have a little drop left of the hydroxylammonium chloride. All you want to do is take the pipette, touch the side of the flask, and the drop will come off. Put the pipette back. Close up your hydroxylammonium chloride. And at this point, you'll see that no reaction has occurred. In order to allow the reaction to occur, you need to add 5 molar HCl. So you need to add acid. At this point, we'll be adding 15 mils of acid. Once you've added your acid, Take your watch glass, place it on top of the Erlenmeyer flask, and leave it for about 10 minutes. During these 10 minutes, you want to watch for any changes.
Now that 10 minutes has passed, our next step is to add 5 ml of potassium iodide. When you add this, you're going to note an instant color change from yellow to brown. We now have to titrate with the standard solution of sodium thiosulfate. Again, it is very important to note the initial reading. So you will take off the burette from the stand, hold it with your left hand at the top, bring the meniscus down to eye level, and putting the burette card at the back, read off the initial reading. Then mount your burette back onto the stand, making sure that the burette is straight. And now, it is very important to hold the burette valve with your left hand and the flask with your right hand. Another important thing is to constantly shake the flask while you add the sodium thiosulfate. So with your left hand, open the tap to let the sodium thiosulfate flow and constantly shake until you see the color change to a pale yellow. Now that it is at a pale yellow, the next step is to add starch indicator. Again, you're going to see an instant color change to a dark blue. At this point, it is very, very important to titrate drop by drop. One drop can make all the difference. So with your right hand, add 1 drop and make sure to shake the flask after each addition. So very slowly, add 1 drop and shake it. We need another drop in this case. And in 2 drops, we have reached our end point where the solution is now colorless. It is at this point that you want to take the final burette reading. So again, take off the burette from the stand, holding the burette with your left hand at the very top, bring the meniscus down to your eye level, and put the card behind and read off the final reading. This will tell you the amount of sodium thiosulfate added to the solution. Remember guys, safety first. Don't forget your goggles, lab coat, gloves, proper footwear. Common sense might be a good asset too. Before coming into lab, make sure you read your lab. And when in doubt, always, always, always consult your TA. See you next time.